was a fucking risk. You at least now you have the thumbnail and you know what you're going into. Those you spend like 30 minutes downloading, and God knows what it's going to be. Yeah.
I used to download a still from the movie Swordfish, Halle Berry, which was like tanning and drops. So I used to download that.
It was shocking that she did that.
I would download it, beat off to it, delete it. And then an hour later, like, downloaded it.
I felt like a real hacker when you were doing that. You were just like,
It was like the movie Swordfish.
Yeah, that's what that movie's about. It's about hacking while you get your dick sucked.
that's literally.
Yeah. I like that he has trouble hacking while the blowjob is going on.
Yeah.
That's the only scene I remember.
And the whole time you're jacking off, you're like, David Justice didn't know what he had. Didn't know how lucky he was. Yeah, I liked. She was in the rotation for sure. I'm trying to think who else made.
There was a specific picture of Salma Hayek with only one tit out.
Wow.
You guys ever see that one?
No, but
that might have been a fake, but it was a very good fake. Salma Hayek was a big.
She was big. From Dusk Till Dawn was huge.
I used to beat off a lot to Miss September 1980.
Really?
Yeah.
I did like the old, like you would come across like a 1960s, and they just had the cone titties with like giant nipples. Something about that you don't see that anymore. Maybe the bras were.
Not a fan.
Forming them that way. It was like a fun. And you also had some very.
There's this shitty old comic in Austin one time I go into the Velveeta room and he's just drunk. And he's like an Austin staple. This guy like Carry On. Everyone loves him. I don't know why I'm shitting on him. But it was very much a thing where like for 45 years he was the only comedian in Austin.
Right.
So it's like, how funny is this guy? You know, he's not really.
Right.
And he's just drunk and he's in the Velveeta room and he's like, you know, back then the girls, they just had these big old pair of just like torpedo shaped tits. These big old titties that torpedo shaped like the fins on a big old Cadillac. These big old tits, and you could see them, and then the bra be swinging in the wind. These big old tits, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You fucking retarded old man. This is the shit you beat off to 400 years ago. There's no punchline coming. You're just drunk.
Oh, that was him on stage?
Yeah, this is him on stage.
No.
I thought he was making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Austin. He just has a stroke up there.
Oh, yeah. No, there's this other guy, Art. There's all these guys from the 80s, back again, when nobody was doing comedy.
Yeah.
And so,
you watch it and you're like, oh,
yeah.
God.
And all these guys were friends with Bill Hicks because, you know, he was around back then.
Right.
But,
sound like him.
Yeah, there's this guy.
And they're like, that devil.
Kinnison's great. Kinnison's great.
Louder Than Hell is one of the best albums ever. I love Kinnison.
I'm not even.
I don't
so
love
many
the
people
Kinnison
stole.
clones.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the lower level guys. I'm talking about the people that were legitimate like open micers that wouldn't last at 6 months if they started now.
Right.
Who populated the scene. There was this guy Art Mack that I guess had been around forever, and Bryson was just waiting in the foyer of the Velveeta room one time, and Art like stands there next to him, and you know they're just standing there next to each other awkwardly, and Bryson's not going to start conversation with him because he's they really know the guy. And like Art's like waiting for something to say, and they stand there for like 20 seconds, and then Art looks around and he goes, "Used to be girls who came here to fuck the comics," and then he gets nothing on that and just leaves.
He thought he was really gonna bro down.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Fuck, it would be nice if more women just explicitly came to fuck comics.
You fucking got laid last night.
Yeah, that's true. That literally did happen to
She
me.
literally walked up to you and said, "Do you want to come home with me?"
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that was that's true, but maybe more of that. Yeah, if it could happen literally every time.
It's a good time. It's a good time to be a comedian.
We're gonna take Cometown on the road, and if you want to fuck Stavros, you can pay me. Well, you give him the money, but he has to give it to me.
You're fucking turning me out, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't wait to fuck this girl. I just go in, it's like 4 dudes. Yeah, time to fuck Stav.
I'm just getting a manicure with
in the same room though.
What I tell you?
An apple in your mouth. It's like, I wonder if he's hanging in there.
Yeah, he's my little piggy pie. Don't fuck him up now. I gotta sell that ass all week, baby. Daddy need his toenails back.
Oh, it's like the scene in Deliverance. You just come in and save him with an arrow. How fucked up is that scene?
Oh, the worst. Fuck. We could probably pimp out Adam for real, though. He's a cute little twink.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
He's your Phil Hanley?
Yeah, he is our Phil Hanley.
Nice little twink.
Yeah, we're in DC as a road episode.
That's why Adam's not here. We didn't really kick him off the podcast.
No, we haven't made fun
He's
of
back
G's
home,
yet.
just experiencing, dating life in New York. Wow, that's crazy.
It's so hard.
Wow, these girls you have to interact with.
Yeah, some beautiful woman with a septum piercing and double T titties is asking Adam to hog tie her right now, and he's going to find a way to complain about it when we get home.
I don't know how to do this. Shut up.
You fucking asshole.
Shut the fuck up, Adam.
You guys got the good recipe for a hip podcast. You guys got the good dynamic, and then you got the guy you hate. That's all you need.
Yeah, we did. I was explaining to someone, we did kind of the reverse Carl Pilkington thing. What you do is normally a good podcast is you get two guys that are smart and then a dumb guy to beat up on. But we did the reverse. We got two dumb guys and we'll make fun of him for being some kind of book reading faggot.
Whenever he starts saying facts, we call him gay. That's what we do. That's how this podcast works.
Baskel on him. Shut up.
And that's what people really want, dude. That's what got Trump in office, which I cannot be more happy about.
Yeah, you totally flipped.
For pussy.
I didn't vote for him, but I am happy he won.
Yeah.
Which is the best,
Yeah.
When something good happens and you didn't have to do any work for it.
I was furious for Tuesday, and then I woke up and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was blackout drunk also, and that is not a good thing for when something unexpected happens.
Well, my girlfriend the last week has been like, oh, well, what if I have to get an abortion? It's like, you'll be fine. We live in New York
We
City.
have a staircase. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I've been working on my stomach punches recently.
Yeah. I know karate. Karate, it's illegal actually for me to not know karate
Now that Steven Seagal is Secretary of Defense,
In Russia.
Yeah.
He has Serbian citizenship too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Really? How many citizenships does that guy have?
Everywhere but the United States. Japan, Serbia.
Serbia seems like a rough place to live.
I know.
Weave lives there. There's another guy that is going to be on the podcast who is a literal Nazi. There's a gigantic swastika tattoo on his face.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were on together.
Yeah. Well, I want to have him on with Adam. I think it would be a funny bit to just constantly apologize for Adam speaking. Insist that he be nicer to a guest.
We invited this Nazi.
Yeah. Weave's a guy that was like, he was like, he's been a troll on the internet for like a decade or longer than that, like 15 years. But back when like the internet was like kind of new, he was like a guy that was actually getting some notoriety for being a troll. And he would like fucking lie to the New York Times and shit, and they would print this kind of stuff, and things that he said that were just lies. And he was a guy that like had no problem like calling in bomb threats to the FBI or whatever. When they show up at his house, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he gives him like a fake name, and then they just arrest him for that. He just didn't care. He's like never cared. So like he is legitimately a Nazi now, but it's also like if you've been aware of him long enough, it's like I don't think he's legitimately anything because he's constantly. 2 years ago he was a Mormon. He was like 100% I'm a Mormon. I don't think
that's a big right turn.
Yeah, well, he's like I don't see how you can read the Bible and not think that Jesus and Socrates were the ultimate trolls and they invented troll. Like he has all these bizarre, I mean, there's no line between. So you can't tell when the irony starts with him. So even for him to go to the extent of having a swastika tattoo on his chest, I think a part of him is like, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's the biggest troll.
Yeah, he just doesn't. But he was in 2007 or 2008 when the iPad came out. Whenever the iPad came out, AT&T launched the iPad. And the way it worked is you buy it at like the AT&T store, and then you go home, turn on the iPad. And when you turned it on, it would go to AT&T's website, and the serial number of the iPad that you bought was sent to AT&T's website through a hidden form on the website, and then that's how it downloaded all your contact information.
Right.
Now the form's hidden, but it still exists in like the post data sense of the server. So some guy like saw that and like just wrote a quick script that runs because all the serial numbers numbers for iPads were sequential.
So this is the guy.
No, this is a different guy.
All right.
This guy wrote a script that just runs every sequential serial number for the iPads and pulled the entire AT&T customer database off the website. And they notified. It's not bad. It's just it's a flaw that AT&T left open on the website.
But he's a hacker, though, right?
Yeah, debatable. And this isn't Weeb. This is the other guy that found it.
Right.
So they
How is it debatable that he's a hacker, though?
Because he's a hacker, but is that illegal? That's the question.
He stole their information?
It would be like if you walk past a house and somebody had their social security number in the window of the house, and you said, "Hey, your social security number is just displayed in that window."
But he created a script to hack it, though. It's not like
it's not hacking it because he's not breaking the system. The system was already fucked up. You could put anything in.
But no, it's not like just say. Anyway, what's the story?
Well, it doesn't matter. Like the U.S. Court of Appeals overturned the decision that it was hacking.
It is hacking.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
So what's the?
They vacated the judgment.
Okay.
Or so whatever. So the story is the guy that found it. He tried to notify AT&T. AT&T blew him off, and then he went to Weave to publicize it. We publicized it. We've got arrested, and we spent 2 years in prison.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the federal government already hated him.
Right.
But
So they just got an excuse to put him away.
so he was waiting for trial.
Al
Yeah.
Capone on taxes.
He was waiting for trial.
You don't have a lot of options in prison. You kind of got to join that Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah. So he was waiting trial, and he became this like Occupy, poster boy, because the Electronic Frontier Foundation was like, in his corner, and all these Occupy people were in his corner, and it was so funny to me, having like known all the fucked up shit Weave had done in the prior, to see like Occupy people being like, yeah, this guy's like, he's like a good guy, he's like a hacker or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, that's not the guy. Whose corner you want to be in. And yeah, I don't know. So how much of an actual Nazi he is? I mean, he is. If you're saying that shit and people are believing it, then I guess it doesn't matter whether you're
Just a funny sentence. How much of an actual Nazi?
Yeah.
Are you a cash Nazi? Or
Yeah, it's like.
Are you like a Monday through Thursday Nazi?
Yeah, weekend Nazi warrior.
Yeah, so I don't know. The debate right before he got the swastika tattoo, the debate was like, is he really a Nazi or just trolling?
That's a big commitment.
That is the ultimate troll.
No, but I still.
You got to go to a special place to get that tattoo.
Yeah, who's giving out
just go to
swastika tattoos?
I still think he's so fucking funny though. Like I clicked on his website, his like a live journal, which I haven't read in a while, and the first it's all these articles he's written about white supremacy, and then the first article I see is like, it just starts and it's like, it was 2011 was the first year I became a believer. Justin Bieber has to be one of the greatest recording artists of our generation. It's like written this thing about why he legitimately loves Justin Bieber, and he lays out, explains why he's great, and it's like, that's fun. It's funny.
It's so funny.
It's so funny because it's juxtaposed with all this Nazi hate speech.
That is legitimately hilarious.
Yeah. He's also Weave is like 5'2". He's harmless, as like a physical thing. So it's, you take it all.
He probably has guns.
He is a literal troll.
Yeah, he is. He's quite literally a fucking troll. Yeah, Sam Hyde, same thing. Sam Hyde's like an alt-right guy now or whatever.
Yeah.
He's gotten he's that's been pretty solidified throughout Trump's campaign.
For sure.
But I also think Sam Hyde is like one of the funniest people.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard when you know that's the that's. I don't know what his intentions are. Like those shits when he's mocking women in this shit, and it's like, oh, well, he's just like a fucking absurd, crazy dude. It's like, all right, whatever. But then when you know, like, oh, he probably hates women. There's like a different. It adds a little bite when you know what his fucking. Like I'm specifically, there was $1 million stream sketch where it's like, he's just mocking some woman for wanting to date a successful man because she hasn't worked on herself or something. He's just making this. They're just bullying these women who have no idea, and they're real women. It's not like a sketch.
What do that the wall sketch?
Yeah, where it's like a fake dating show, and he's just bullying a woman.
The $1 million stream show World Peace on Adult Swim.
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's just like these guys, $1 million stream. So they're from they were always like these weird, funny.
They're like a 4chan
dudes.
sketch group, and like that informed their sense of humor, and then their output is also in line with that kind of stuff. But Sam got popular like at least what you could call mainstream popularity in regard, or like with regards to the other stuff that he does. And when a couple of years ago he like lied his way into like a TEDx talk, and he like drove to Drexel University and had this like bizarre speech he did wearing like children's like Halloween costume armor.
Yeah, it was really funny.
It's really fucking funny.
He just faked a whole, and these people were asking him questions. He said nothing.
Yeah.
Like everything was just like double speak and like.
Yeah, it was all like, we got to get to Africa to teach these kids JavaScript.
People were like, "What are you talking?" The questions were literally like, "What was the point of this?"
Yeah.
It was great.
He starts like making himself laugh while he's doing it, and just sort of turns away and like just starts slapping his own face. It's really funny. But yeah, no, he's also like an alt-right guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are in DC, and
Home of the alt-right.
home of the alt-right now. Does anybody, I feel like, do we have any funny DC fuck stories? Nick, you had a pretty good one. The last time you were here, we were talking about it in the car.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I was here a couple years ago, and I was just trying to find a place to stay using Tinder. And
Literally trying to fuck for shelter.
Yeah, no, I changed my Tinder bio to say that, and then some girl was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that," or whatever. And then we met up in the middle of the day, and she's like, "Well, we can't really go to my apartment." And I'm like, I don't have a place to go. I made that clear. And then, yeah, we ended up...
She barely spoke English, right?
No, she spoke English.
Oh, okay.
Come on. She was Chinese, but she spoke English. Yeah. We ended up, she was all right, and we ended up fucking in the woods next to Rock Creek Parkway. Not even, yeah.
That didn't even solve your problems.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Yeah. It's like on the side of the road, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I showed up to the Improv, and like blood all over my hands.
She's on her period.
Oh my god.
On his hand and his jeans. He had to borrow jeans.
Yeah, well, I had to borrow jeans for the next show, the next night, because I got to the club and I forgot I was wearing basketball shorts. I'm like, oh fuck, and I had to borrow Tito Garza's pants.
Tito was just coming to watch the show.
Yeah. And so he had to sit there without pants on.
What? In the crowd?
Yeah, because I had to borrow his pants to wear on stage.
Oh man. Well, that's a good friend.
Yeah. No, Tito came through.
He was a good dude. Have you ever had any funny fuck stories here, Sam? Have you been coming to DC?
I've been here a few times. I'm trying to think.
And open it up geographically if you have any good ones.
A good fuck story.
Don't believe it. You're an idiot.
Well, this one's bad. I probably shouldn't say it. I will. Good fuck story. Recent.
No, it doesn't have to be recent. It could be a classic. It could be a classic Sam Morrill fuck story.
Well, the worst one, I've actually talked. You've heard this one before, but it's a fun one for your cum town.
For the cum boys.
For the cum boys.
Yeah.
One of the worst ones was I met this really cute girl online, and you know this one. Yeah, it's terrible. And we had a good date, and then I made out with her, and that was kind of it. And I never heard from her again. I thought nothing of it. And then one day she just texted me, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm in Union Square with my parents." "What are you up to?" And she's like, "I want to see you, and I want to get freaky with you." And I was like, "All right."
So you hadn't heard from her for like...
I haven't heard from her for a couple months. It was a Friday afternoon, and everything about it was a little shady. Like, I felt like it didn't seem right. Mm-hmm. And then I called her to make sure it was her, because there's that part of your brain where like someone's trying to rob me. This is too good to be true. And I called, and she's like, "It's me. I'm drunk. I've had a bad week at work. I want to fuck." And I was like, "Okay, sold. That's all I need." And I lied to my mom about an audition to get out of there, which really hurt a little bit. To see her face, like,
so you're just having...
Go get him, Sam.
Which an audition is still kind of a shitty reason to like in your family. I'm really hoping I get this Reebok commercial.
It's more important than my love for you guys. Yeah. So I leave, and I remember like everything about it was a little fishy. I remember I text Rachel Feinstein like, "Here's the address in case anything happens to me." This is how you know you're walking into something bad. Because I was with Rachel early that day, and I was just like, and she's like, "Why do you have to do this?" And I was like, "Well, you know why." But a woman doesn't understand that type of urge.
There's a lot of things women don't understand. Fucking the presidency, math. So everything except the space program, which apparently they invented. That was WOCs.
So I go over there. I get off the train, and it's like it's a different apartment than when I dropped her off, but I don't think much of it because you know, it's like it's New York, people sublet, but it's like a luxury apartment in Williamsburg. I walk in, I'm like, let's have a drink downstairs, and she's like, no, let's just go upstairs. I have scotch, and I was like, that's weird. So we go up. Not like there's just a couch and a bottle of scotch. That's all there is in the apartment. I was like, this feels very pornographic. So we start kind of making out a little bit. She starts sucking my dick, and I down a couple scotches, and then she's like, we should go to my bedroom so my roommate doesn't catch us. And I was like, all right. And then she's like, no, I want him to catch us. And I was like, what? That sounds like the opposite of what you just said. But she's like, yeah. And then I'm like, fine. We go to the bedroom. It's a guy. Yeah, it's a guy roommate. Yeah, I don't even know what. Basically, he's been there the whole time. I find out a second later.
Jesus Christ.
We're in her bedroom. Thanks for pretending to be surprised by it. Stav knows this story because I've told it on stage before. So the door just swings open. She's going down on me, and it's like a scary looking guy. He's jacked. He's tatted up. He's staring, and I'm kind of like, "Can I help you?" I don't know. What do you say? Right? I'm still in her mouth. Yeah. And he's like, I was like, well, he's like, "We gonna do this?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Are we gonna fuck her?" And I was like, I'm not. That's not my thing.
He just wanted to fuck her with you.
Yeah, that was their thing. That was their thing apparently, and I'm like terrified. I'm kind of like being confused hard is a fucking bad. To be scared while you're hard is a bad feeling.
I feel like that's kind of what it feels like to be mentally disabled.
They are always hard. Yeah, I've noticed.
To be coming and scared at the same time.
They're like, help!
Yeah. Where am I?
So I basically just, I pulled my pants up and I was like, all right, well, this has been real. I was scared. I grabbed my backpack and I ran out, and I remember walking through McCarran Park, and my mom called to see how the audition went, and I was like, it was not good. But and then I called Rachel, and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? And I was like, but you know why?
Yeah,
obviously. But I regret it.
Absolutely.
But then I've done it. I mean, it's not like you were going to touch balls or whatever.
You might have.
No, you just fucking spit roaster.
It felt so creepy. Like, that's one of the things I did with like a guy from when I was like in like high school. But it's not something you do when you're an adult. And with a stranger, it's scary.
Yeah.
You're scared for your safety. And the fact they already lied to me. And then also, I don't know. Everything about it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I don't think I would. I don't know. I've never fucked a girl with another dude. It seems. I feel like any audience is too much. I just can't have anybody watching me fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever double teamed anyone?
No, never.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like when you're fucking alcoholic days, you might have just accidentally.
No.
No?
I mean, if I did, I don't remember.
I have a friend who I did it with in like 7th grade.
People,
7th grade.
People don't. They confuse alcoholism and like partying. And
Right.
They're not the same thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true. I don't have any like cool stories from when I was a fucking awful drunk.
Right. You just.
Right.
Yeah, drove my car.
Occasionally you do something cool, but it would be like by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like with even with this girl. That's the power of being a beautiful woman. Is I remember I texted her afterwards, and I was like, "If you want to do that again, but just us, let me know." And she's like, "Nah, not really. Just just with the guy." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't know why you thought I would be into that.
Yeah,
like,
what
that's not
about
something you just like. Can you imagine if I fucking did that to her?
Oh my god.
If I just
That's rape.
if I just had a dude come in,
she would have a $1 million blogging career. What if that was Sadie Doyle? Have you ever seen Sadie Doyle?
Dude, I'm like the guy that brought her to popularity. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what she looks like?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was
Maybe it was her.
I went to Sadie's apartment, dude.
Sadie, man.
That's what happened. That was
a hot Asian.
That was the Tiger beatdown.
She,
Sadie's having a meltdown.
Oh yeah, about what?
That's the one benefit of Trump winning is that you get to just go read Sadie's feed and.
Oh yeah. What she got going now these days?
The same shit.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
That's the problem is that people like that focus their energy on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's bigger problems out there than
Well,
jokes.
she had a 24-hour meltdown because I've never interacted with her once ever.
Yeah.
And then one time she made some dumb statement about I think it was like Bernie Bros or something, or whatever, and I just responded with a picture of Dr. Evil, and then it just said right. I was having like an Austin Powers renaissance that week.
That was so funny.
Every few years you have to.
Well, it became very funny to me again to make Austin Powers references.
Sure.
You know, in the same way that like Borat references were ironically funny.
Yes.
Like,
but Austin Powers is even funnier than that.
Yeah, baby. To like say that, especially if you can do it like at work. If you're at work and you can just annoy someone all day with Austin Powers references, and then they'll go, "Yeah, man." Then they go home and he's like, "You won't fucking shut up about Austin Powers." And this guy beating his wife because they kept saying Mojo.
Have you heard?
That's the funniest shit in the world.
Have you heard Colin Quinn's story about how he turned down Austin Powers?
No.
Here's his whole story.
Was he supposed to be Austin Powers?
He was supposed to be Scott. He was supposed to be. Really? He was supposed to be Seth Green.
What?
Dude, it sounds crazy, but there's here's why he would have been amazing at it. There's an episode of Larry Sanders where he plays Rip Torn's spoiled son named Cully, and it's every line is like he's like an intern for the Larry Sanders show. He's just fucking everybody on set, and Gary Shandling will be like, "Hey, can I get a mango sorbet?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, one homo surprise coming right up." Like, he's like a dick, and you can see like, "Oh shit, he would have." That's why Mike Myers was probably like, "You have to do this." And I guess Colin just tells him, "I got my own shit I'm working on," so you know.
Was
he turned it down.
Wasn't he too old to play his...
But that's part of the humor of it, is that he's like kind of...
That makes sense.
He's almost too old to be the son, but he is the son.
Yeah. I get that. Fuck, that's so funny.
So you were saying the Sadie Doyle story.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. So I tweeted that right thing at her that one time. I've told this story already. I mean, the fans of the show are familiar with it. I'll get so. So, yeah, she spent the next, like, 24 hours, like, tweeting at me, like, "I know you're fucking friends with Kurt Metzger," you know, and then it was about Kurt, and then about how, like, you know, Kurt's a rapist, and he's literally murdered, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Kurt murdered 37 women.
Right. Yeah, I've heard. I can't believe he still gets work.
Yeah. So she's going on about Kurt, and then she's, like, tweeting at Amy Schumer because of me. Tweeting that one picture. It's like,
I'm pretty sure Amy does not check her Twitter anymore.
Amy doesn't know who the
She's
fuck
got some
I
shit.
am.
Amy's got some shit going on. I don't know if she's heard about it.
Yeah,
but
I've never even met Amy. Amy doesn't know who I am. So, and then, you know, everyone's like making fun of Sadie for having a problem with me because like I've never interacted with her beyond that like right thing, and I just keep posting that picture of Dr. Evil over and over again. And she just went for 48 hours, just went nuts.
The thing is, like, yeah, she did a thing. She is there's like a type of blogger that is just fueled by anger rather, like that's their form of being entertained, and it's not fact. Like, she just wanted to bait me. I remember she emailed me originally. I was like, "Hey, I saw you at the Comedy Cellar and your act really stood out. I'd love to interview you sometime." And I just wrote, I was like on the road. I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" And she wrote back a couple days later, like pages of rape statistics because I told a rape joke.
Oh my god!
And I was like, "Oh, this doesn't sound like an interview. It sounds like something else." And then I just sent it to my manager, and she was like, "Oh, you got to send all interviews through me." I was like, "Well, I don't think this is what most interviewers are like."
Do you like to talk to your manager with that kind of stuff?
Well, I had a different manager at the time, and I was kind of this was a few years ago, and I was kind of like, "Yeah, I don't."
I talk to my manager like once every 6 months, and they're like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "Nothing." They're like, "All right."
Well, they work for you. You got to hit them up.
Yeah,
I talk to my guy.
They're good. They've done stuff for me, but you know, I guess I don't really know what market there is for a cum podcast outside of the one we've already created.
I think you guys are onto something. Man.
We're doing
you guys got a good dynamic.
Everybody listening to this is a premium subscriber, so you have free admittance to Sam's show tonight. If you want.
Come down to the big hunt.
I wasn't serious about that.
About what?
They get in the show for free.
You look
come
to the big
for
hunt.
A second.
Oh no,
7:30
and less.
Yeah.
10,
come free.
10 p.m.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But what?
The joke is this won't go up until tomorrow, so there's no way they can get it.
It's gonna go tomorrow or today.
I don't know. I gotta. Where am I gonna edit it and upload it?
Oh, you're right.
Dude,
you're right.
You know, the Sadie Doyle thing was hilarious though, because she really I remember when she posted that article about me, I just woke up to like angry tweets like, "I hope you die," and I was like, well, this is a different Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, she took my joke not only out of context, but she omitted the punchline.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, ooh, that's kind of a problem. You're just writing a fucked up setup.
Right.
And I remember I sent it. I was like, well, I got to respond to this, and that's when it got I probably could have just let it die and nothing would have happened. Right. But like it got traction when I responded, and it's funny because you see who your friends are in those moments. Because I remember a couple comics kind of were like writing like passive aggressive shit about me.
Really?
Yeah, and I was shocked. I was like, oh, I thought I was friends with that guy. That's kind of weird. Yeah. And I remember I sent my response to Colin Quinn, and I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And he was like, how dare she like omit your punchline? This is like because he's like the most angered by this, of course. You know, he's and he said something like, you know, this is a great response. Take out this one line. It's pretty gay.
Yeah. You should have had like an addendum at the end that was like, I was also going to say this, but Colin Quinn said it was gay.
I should. Well, I remember,
and that's really the real like treat to the Trump thing. As bad as it's going to be to see people like that, just a little bit more upset than they already were. It's worth it. Is that spiteful? Absolutely. Is it wrong for me to do that? Probably.
Yeah.
Will I do it? Yes.
Just enjoy it, you mean?
Yeah.
Despite all the other damage?
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do?
That, I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're always going to do it.
Yeah. I'm going to send Sadie Dr. Evil memes now.
Those were great.
Dr. Evil saying, huge. Huge. It's going to be great, Sadie. It's going to be really good, okay?
It is funny. It seems like Trump's already fucking like what he already said he might keep some parts of Obamacare.
Oh, yeah. He's not going to repeal Obamacare. I'm going to amend Obamacare. There's a lot of great stuff in there that I really like,
It's awesome that he's just already flip-flopping.
Pre-existing conditions are staying in there.
I think, part of me is like, he's a liberal guy at heart, but the other part of me is like he's just wants to do whatever's going to be good for him. He's a narcissist,
Yeah, who knows what the fuck's from. He's got to be mad that Trump TV's not happening, right?
Yeah, well, he had a falling out with Roger Ailes right before.
Right.
I mean, that was going to be the brains behind it.
Right.
It was going to have, which is, by the way, when you have some heat on you for, sexual harassment, maybe don't employ the other guy that's got heat on him for sexual harassment.
They're the Barnum and Baileys of rape.
Roger Ailes, clearly a fucking terrible person.
Oh my God, for sure.
A very smart man at making an empire.
The mental image of those aspirational Fox ladies having to blow him as if he were the bad guy from the new Mad Max movie. Like they're those sex slaves being milked in the back room, and he's like, I need a blowjob, like that. It pleases me.
They lived in fear. Everyone lived in fear of him. I remember I was on like it was the last time I did Red Eye, and I was kind of like, all right, I'm done with this show for a while, because they wouldn't let me make a Roger Ailes joke.
They wouldn't let me make a John McCain joke, and it was pro John McCain. It was just about how he can't raise his arms up because he's a fucking POW.
I mean, that is a fun premise to joke on. I mean, but look, John, that's the thing about it. It's like, we're here, you're not paying us when we do that show, Red Eye. I get to say whatever the fuck I want. That's my rule.
Yeah.
And so once they start doing that, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a break for a while.
Yeah. Please don't let the fans know that I'm not paid to do Red Eye. They think I make $1 million an episode. We can't ruin this illusion that I live on the top of the Empire State.
Tom Shalhoub makes more than Fallon right now.
Yeah. Well, how funny would it be if they didn't pay Tom Shalhoub? He just does a show for free
every day.
We'll send you a car. We'll send you a car and you get some stale cookies in the garage.
I fucking went there one time. And you come out and you don't see Tom in the green room or something.